What is up, 12 Nation, Hawk Alert Nation? I'm here with Christopher Kidd, my friend from Seahawks Man to Man. He runs his own Seahawks channel with Mike Duggar, a popular guy on Twitter. And he's also a popular guy. Chris is very popular on Twitter. Chris, say what's up to Hawk Alert Nation.
What is up, Hawk Alert Nation? Hope everybody's having a good day so far. It's a pleasure to be on with you, man. Thank you for allowing me to come on and talk some Seahawks in the NFL draft, man. Should be fun.
Yeah, today we have a fun topic for you guys. We're discussing the 8 picks that the Seahawks have in this 2022 draft. Let's cue that intro. Take 5 seconds and then we'll start. Like I said, I'm Saahil Kapoor. I'm here with Christopher Kidd. Let's start with that 9th pick. Chris, who do you have at the 9th pick?
Man, so this is tough for me, and I'll make this brief because the Seahawks do need a quarterback still. I don't know if you're comfortable with what the Seahawks have at quarterback. The Seahawks need an offensive lineman. The Seahawks need an offensive line, and they need someone at corner. 3 key positions that if you don't have, it could be an issue. So this is very tough for me, but who I want to take with the 9th overall pick for the Seahawks in the 2022 NFL draft, I got to go Stingley. I got to go corner. I want to solidify the corner spot for the Seahawks. Main reason is because they don't have a number 1 corner right now. We don't know the future of Trey Brown. Granted, he got hurt last season. All indications to me seem that he will be back in time, but we don't know for sure. Sidney Jones, he showed flashes, but I want someone to come in and compete, right? The Seahawks were able to bring back Justin Coleman, former nickelback for the Seahawks who played in Detroit a few seasons ago. He bounced around the league, but he's now back in Seattle. He's someone that can be in that slot position and just make things more of a challenge for opposing offenses. But they don't have a number 1 corner. I think Stingley can come in. He's already got the talent, right? You read his scouting report, it's like, yo, this dude is different. Having him on this roster, I think elevates the cornerback position. You now are sold on, we have a number 1 starting corner. We have a couple of guys that could be our number 2, and that's a competition that Pete loves to talk about. The one guys that can compete. You bring in Stingley, you have that with that defense. So I am going to go defense first. Now, granted, the Seahawks probably won't do that, but if I was running the GM cap, that's what I would do. I would try to go ahead and solidify the defense because what does Pete want to do? He wants to run the football and he wants to create turnovers. Well, if you bring in Stingley, you have a chance to seriously get turnovers. He's going to get his hand on the football, deflect passes. They might not even throw to him. This is all projection, but I think you want to go out and get that number 1 guy. I say go get that corner and Stingley and go from there, man. So who do you got with your number 9
I just wanted
pick,
to say,
man?
I really like that pick. Derek Stingley, he's the complete package when it comes to the quarterback, especially with the Ahmad Gardner. His stock has been jumping like crazy. There's some people saying that he could go 2nd in the draft. So especially with the Ahmad Gardner possibly going early, Derek Stingley is the 2nd, or he could even be the best corner in this draft. He's the complete package. He's very NFL ready. He has ball skills, speed, everything that you want in the corner. He has height. He's the complete package when it comes to corner. LSU is a good program. I know they're going to prepare him. They already prepared him well for the NFL. So if Derek Stingley does come to the Seahawks, I'm going to be very happy about that. And like you said, the secondary was a bit like it was kind of bad, right? We can say that. And if let's say Derek Stingley comes to the Seahawks, then he's definitely going to help them. My next for my 9th pick, I have Charles Cross. And the reason for this is he's that mean guy, right? The Seahawks need a left tackle and they need a right tackle, especially with uncertainties of Dwayne Brown not returning. I'm pretty sure that they have the center fixed, they have the right guard fixed, and they have the left guard fixed, right? Those guys, we have Gabe Jackson, Damian Lewis. So I think they're pretty set over there, but I think over on the tackles, they're not. So that's why I think Charles Cross comes in and he can really help protect the quarterback. And with uncertainties of not knowing who the quarterback could be in Seattle, I think if it's a bad quarterback, then you need to protect him, right? Because he's still an NFL quarterback. He's still going to have some talent. So you need to protect him. And I think Cross is the best pass blocker in this draft. I think he's better than Neal and Ekwonu. And the Seahawks already had a great run blocking offensive line last year. I think pass blocking is where they need to fix up. My guy is Charles Cross.
That's a really good pick. I completely understand why you went with Charles Cross. He is someone that can help this offensive line. And you mentioned he can pass protect. The Seahawks need that as well, because what do they want to do? They want to be able to run the football. And if he can, protect the quarterback, whoever it's going to be, Drew Lock, Geno Smith, they draft someone, you want to have that protection, and they're able to run the football. So he can do both things. That is a really solid pick. I'm all for it, man. That's a great one.
Yeah. This is going to be the most important pick of this year's draft. It's the 9th pick. Yep. There's so many things the Seahawks could do. Unlimited possibilities. And yeah, just Derek Stingley, Charles Cross, 2 great guys that NFL like future superstars. Let's move to that 40th pick that Denver gave us in the Russell Wilson trade. Chris, who do you have here?
Ooh, all right. This is where things get interesting, because there are multiple ways that you can go. Granted, this is why it makes the opportunity to do a mock draft with you fun, because you don't know what's going to happen. You have your board how you think it could go. Seahawks do something completely different. What I think I'm going to go offensive line here. And the reason being because I got someone that could play defense. I got a talented young man that's going to come in and instantly, based on what he did in college, I think he can come and help the Seahawks. I kind of want to do the same thing with the offensive line. And one guy that I think is probably, top 10 offensive linemen in the draft. Like if you had all the players, I think there's like 30, like legit not 30. There's probably maybe 7 or 8, maybe I'll say 9 solid offensive linemen. I'm going to go with a guy named Tyler Smith out of Tulsa. He's 6'4", 324 pounds. He got frame length, athleticism, and he has some good starting points. And his footwork is key, right? Well, the Seahawks are going to be doing a lot of that because guess what? They want to run the football. He can cut off difficult rush angles. So this dude, I think, can definitely come in and help with this offense, passing wise, and with the running game. Still can use some coaching, obviously. No one's perfect, but I think the Seahawks are looking for someone with his strengths. All right. Someone that can move the pass rush. You look in the division, Aaron Donald, do I need to continue the list? It doesn't, it's scary. You need someone that can protect your quarterback and be an asshole in the run game. All right. And this Tyler Smith guy, not a lot on him, right? Out of Tulsa, but yeah, I'm going to mark him down as my second pick for the Seahawks.
Yeah, Tyler Smith, big guy, bruiser, kind of just runs over anyone in front of him, and he's like that traditional offensive lineman. And I kind of like that pick because especially with your board having Stingley at 9, you do need offensive line makeup, and you need someone that can fill it. And I think the Seahawks are moving to that physical team, especially bringing back Rashad Penny, stuff like that. They need guys that can open run holes, and they need guys that are like bruisers in this type of division. So I really like that. My guy, since I went Charles Cross at 9, my guy at 40 is Kair Ellum. Ellum is a very, very fast corner. If you watch him, this dude is like extremely fast. He's coming down to Florida, and I think he's just great footwork. Like you mentioned earlier, footwork is like really important in football. We're talking any position, you need good footwork. And I think Ellum is a great corner. I think he's able to lock down number 1 guys in the future, not obviously right now, but I think he has that type of potential where he could be locking a number 1 receiver on a team. Seattle has no secondary. We're talking about they lost Reed this year. Prior, they lost Griffin, and they're losing their number 1 guys. And they need a guy that can come in and say, now I'm the leader of this secondary. of this corner secondary, because we obviously can say that Quandre Diggs is the leader of this secondary, but they need a guy that can be like that corner and have an instant impact, crazy speed, can have potential of locking down a number one guy. So my guy's Kair Ellum at 40.
I like that. Okay. That's a good pick, man.
Yeah. I mean, I just think if I go Charles Cross at 9, these are the two most important positions of need on defense. On defense, I think it's corner. And then on offense, I think it's line. So you got to attack those two positions first. Chris, who do you have at 41?
All right. This is probably maybe a little strange, but I'm going to take a linebacker here. Losing Bobby Wagner, I think that's going to be quite interesting to see what Cody Barton does. Jordan Brooks showed a lot last season. He struggled the first, 7-8 weeks with a screen, but as the season progressed, he became efficient. He became better at it. He was able to read things. He's always been a good tackler, right? We've seen him make plays all over the field. He led the Seahawks in tackles, but I want to add depth to that cornerback position. I haven't seen enough of Cody. Haven't seen enough of BBK. There's a lot of guys on that roster that I just haven't seen a lot of. And Pete loves to compete, right? So why not go with Quay Walker out of Georgia, 6'3", 240 pounds, just a 4-star recruit out of high school, stud. I think last season, he had 67 tackles. You want to talk about a missile? This guy is a missile. He is long frame, wears his weight very well, and he's physical. He can play tight ends. And in the NFL, you need someone that can compete with those tight ends. And you look in the NFC West, George Kittle stands out. You got to have someone on him. You don't want to put Jamal in that compromising position because his best for Jamal Adams. He's best at the line of scrimmage. When you put him further back, it becomes more of a challenge. Having someone like Quay come in who is strong. He's pretty fast. What is he running? He ran a 4.5. That's not bad for a linebacker. He can move. Okay. Not saying he's the fastest, but he can get the job done. He can get going. Having someone that can shadow a tight end for a minute, be there around a running back, and be able to go and hit someone, what more could you ask for? So I am going to go with Quay Walker out of Georgia.
Yep. And Georgia, very good football program. Let's just get that out of the way. They're going to train their guys well. Quay Walker, good linebacker, especially with the Seahawks having uncertainties at the Sam position. I think that the Mike and Will are pretty filled with Barton, exceptional last season in the last few games. And then Brooks, he was looking like a superstar on defense, right? I mean, this dude's crazy good. And Wagner's gone. So now the Seahawks are moving to more of a younger defense. And Quay Walker coming in just makes it younger, right? Sam is very, very important. And there's a bunch of uncertainties. We saw Darrell Taylor, I think, sometimes he was at the Sam. And I think Quay Walker could, like you said, he's a big guy, can go on tight end. So we could see him at the Sam linebacker position. But for me, for 41, I went with a really, really polarizing and fun pick. I went Desmond Ritter. And I think, he may go before, but I think the Seahawks could get him at 41. And I think Drew Lock is the type of quarterback. He's only going to succeed if he has a guy compete with him. And I think Ritter's the perfect guy to compete with them because they kind of have completely different play styles, right? Because Locke is more of a field general and Ritter is more of a, I would say, gutsy type scrambler, on the run type of guy. And I think he's a great guy that can compete with Locke, and Pete can get two different perspectives from Ritter and Locke. And I think, let's say Desmond Ritter is the quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks. You give him DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, D. Eskridge, Noah Fant. He's not going to be bad. I mean, these guys are top tier receivers. So I think Desmond Ritter is my pick at 41.
Okay, I like that, man. That's a good pick too. Okay, so far so good.
Yeah, I mean, that's 3 picks. The Seahawks have 3 top 50 picks, which is just pretty crazy, right? I mean, looking before this year, before the Russell Wilson trade, they had 1. Now they have 3. So, and this year's draft is just pretty stacked everywhere. I'm saying there's good players until round 3, good first round talents until round 3. So Yeah, the Seahawks have a lot of flexibility. They could go linebacker, like you said, quarterback. There's so many options for them. Let's move to that third round pick. Chris, who's your third round pick for the Seahawks?
All right. So far we've covered our corner, O-line, linebacker. So the next spot I want to bolster up is the pass rush. Pass rush last season, awful. 17 games, 34 sacks. That's not good. And veteran Carlos Dunlap is your leader with 8.5. Mind you, the Seahawks play a lot of 3-4. He didn't rush the passer a lot. He had to literally voice his opinion and thoughts about, hey, I'm not getting the reps I need as a pass rusher. You guys had me dropping the coverage. That's why I only have, one sack at it? I think, what was it, week 11? And then he went crazy after that and he ended up with 8.5 sacks for the season. And I don't think he's going to be returning to the Seahawks. Rasheem Green was second. He had 6.5. Not bad, but we need more of that. Darrell Taylor was the perfect fit. He was able to rush the passer, and he was able to drop into coverage. So one player that stands out that he has some struggles with getting into coverage, but I think the Seahawks can definitely get him ready, is Josh Paschal out of Kentucky. He's going to be my selection here. And one of the reasons why is he reminds me a lot of DT, just not being able to cover as much and as well. That's something he needs to work on. But everything else, it screams Darrell Taylor. So why not get another guy that can rush the passer? You have to work with him and get him comfortable with playing in coverage. And I think the Seahawks are going to have a solid, and they're going young on defense, right? So you bring in this young guy. What is he, 21? He's 22. So you bring him in. Come on, man. This defensive line is going to be fun, exciting, and he might be able to rejuvenate it and get it back to a team that might get you 41, 42 sacks in a season, which would be very nice.
Yeah. And I really like that because the Seahawks brought in Uchenna Nwosu, and he's a great pass rusher, and he could stand by him. They got Al Woods, and locker room, like, veteranship is very important in the locker room. And I think Al Woods could really help these young guys come and become what they need to become. However, I just think that they need to keep working at corner. I think it was just so bad in some games. They're so terrible at corner in some games. And I think they just need to keep working at it so they can become one of the better secondaries in the league. My guy here is Cam Taylor Britt. And I think Britt's coming out of Nebraska, pretty rough football program. And I think Britt is really NFL ready. If you watch some of his highlights, this dude is everywhere. He's fast. He has great ball skills, great size, great build. I think Cam Taylor Britt is a really good pick for the Seahawks at 76. Chris, what do you think about Cam Taylor Britt?
We actually talked about him on our podcast when we cover corners, and that's Mike's guy. He has the speed to recover. He does a lot of things that are deemed unnecessary or quote unquote cheating, where you're playing a cover 3. You're not supposed to get beat deep. You're standing at the quarterback. The receiver runs by you. You have a feel for where he's at, but he's beating you.
Yeah.
But he has the speed to not panic. He's still looking at the quarterback. He feels that the receiver is beating him, and he has the speed to recover. And while that's risky, maybe the Seahawks gamble on that and they like that style. And we can't have you doing that because you're in the NFL now and everybody is just as fast as you, if not faster. So those are things he has to work on, but I do love his explosiveness. He is able to get his hand on the football, make plays, and that's what the Seahawks need. They need someone that can come in and create turnovers. What is Pete like? Run the football, create turnovers, and manage the clock. That's his style. Everything else, Pete doesn't care about. He wants to do those 3 things and win the football game. And someone like that can come in. He has to learn, just like all the other rookies, but he can definitely come in and be a game changer with the Seahawks for sure. So I'm definitely all in with that pick.
Yeah, just to stand by maybe Derek Stingley too as a second option. Like you said Derek Stingley, maybe Cam Taylor Britt comes in, stands by him. Now the secondary is getting younger and it's getting faster because Cam Taylor Britt's exceptionally fast and Stingley's pretty fast. So it's also getting faster. And some say speed is like 80% of a corner. I've heard that. Sometimes they say speed is 80% of a corner. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Taylor Britt is my guy for the
I like
Seahawks.
it.
What do you think the Seahawks could do at 109?
Well, I'm also with you on the cornerback position. So I too will take a corner in this round. It gets tricky because you need speed at corner. You don't want a slow corner, right? That's
Yeah,
having a slow corner makes it that much more of a challenge. But
it makes it very tough.
in the scheme of the Seahawks run, they are mixing things up. They're playing cover 2. They're playing cover 3. They're playing cover 4. They're playing cover 6. They're doing more than what they have. They're not just saying, we're going to run cover 3 because you can't beat our outside corners. Those days are over. One guy that I think can come in and compete is Martin Emerson out of Mississippi State. Yeah, Mississippi State, 6'1", 200 pounds. He has the arm length, all right, the 33 and a half inch arms. He fits the Pete Carroll ideology of a cornerback. He just doesn't have the speed, but you can work on that. He has quick twitch, which that is awesome, but he just doesn't have the top end speed. So if a guy runs a seam route, actually not a seam, if he runs a nice fade down the sideline, would he be able to keep up? Unlikely, but with the defense switching their scheme a bit, they can hide that. That's what they were doing last season. They had a couple of issues at corner. They weren't solidified. They bring in Steve Jones. They lose this guy, Trey Flowers, you name it. They were making a bunch of moves. They were playing all different type of covers. This season, though, it's going to be the same thing. So bring in a guy like Martin Emerson, someone that he's only a 3-star recruit, not the biggest household name, but he has the tall length and he uses his arm very well to jam and make guys move around. And that's what Pete loves. He loves that physical corner that can make a wide receiver reroute, because what does that do? That's timing. That puts pressure on now the quarterback to get the ball off on time, but he can't because the pass rush is coming. All these intangibles play into a factor of why the Seahawks should go after Emerson if he's available. He's coming in at 21 years old. He'll be 22 at the start of the season because his birthday is in late November. I think it's November 20 or not November. It's September 27th, if I'm not mistaken. So bringing him in, get him some reps early, and he could be someone that you bring in and out of the lineup, because that's what they did last season. The Seahawks were moving guys left and right. It wasn't a constant. The only constant was DJ Reed. That was the one dude that we knew he's going to start.
Yep. And I really like that pick. They need, and let's say like our drafts are pretty similar position wise. We just have like different kind of like position mix ups, if you know what I mean. But our positions, we were really similar. We're trying to hit where the Seahawks are struggling and some good scheme fits. My next guy, like you said, linebacker prior when I said corner, I'm going back to linebacker, Damon Clark. And I think Clark is he's a big, mean guy, and that's what you need at linebacker. He's also a pretty athletic guy, and that's what the Seahawks need. I think athleticism is where they need to attack. And picking up a guy like Damon Clark out of LSU really solidifies that athletic need at the linebacker spot, because let's say Cody Barton, Damon Clark, and Jordan Brooks are your 3 linebackers next season. That's like a pretty young and scary linebacker core. My pick is Damon Clark at 109.
Another solid pick. Okay, we're doing just fine, man. We got this.
Yeah, our positions just match up. Like you went corner, I went tackle, then you went tackle, then I went quarterback. Maybe you have a quarterback a bit later, but yeah, I mean, I think there's certain positions that the Seahawks need to attack, and I think we're hitting them pretty well. So let's move to that next pick, which is 152. Who do you have at 152, Chris?
This is tough, but I think you need to, at this point, you get into the draft, you're in the 5th round. I say if the Seahawks just want to add some depth at receiver, maybe go out and get Romeo Dubes. All right. 6 feet, 200 pounds. I honestly wish we would have saw more of the Seahawks' best pick last season, D. Eskridge, but injuries, he just wasn't out there, unfortunately. So you bring this young man in Romeo, and I like him. I just like him. He has decent height. All right. He's very quick, very quick. We thought D was quick. This guy is quicker. You bring him in, he has a shot to make the squad. And Pete loves to say, hey, bring him in and compete. We'll see what happens, but the chips fall where they may. He's going to be out there. I know it's a 5th round pick. Chances are these guys don't even make the team, but he is someone that had my eye. I think what he had last year, he had 11 touchdowns last year and over 1,000 yards receiving.
Wow.
He's pretty impressive. He only had 4 drops, which is a lot, but he can improve on that. But I think if you want someone that's explosive and can get you a bang play, this is someone you go out and get. He's not big, which is kind of the same issues that D. Eskridge had, but I think he is more agile, more elusive. So that would be a good player to go in and compete with. And maybe he can do some kick return, punt return. He can be someone that definitely helps out the Seahawks in special teams, for sure, if the receiving end doesn't work out.
Yeah, I mean, I think this year's an experiment year, and the Seahawks could run some 4 receiver sets. As fun as it sounds, they could do something like that. And DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, they require great corners to be on them. They're not just ordinary receivers that you can just slap a normal guy on them. DK Metcalf needs a top tier corner on him or you're getting killed. So let's say you add another receiver. Let's say DK's covered by Jalen Ramsey. Now D. Eskridge and Tyler Lockett and some other guys, they're going to get open now, right? Because they have more room and there's less guys that are going to be trying to cover them, especially with like Jalen Ramsey, right? Let's see he's on DK in a man set. Then now that frees up some other options for Drew Lock, Desmond Ritter, or Geno Smith even. My pick at this one, what is it? My bad. 152 is Ioma Uwazurike. And you may have heard of him. This dude can play everywhere on the line. Everywhere. I mean everywhere. He can come off the edge inside. It's crazy. This dude's tall. He has a good frame. And I mean, you can put him at any single tackle spot and he'll get through any single offensive lineman. Some of his like highlights, this dude's a freak. I mean, I think this is a perfect guy for the Seahawks. My guys are like, my big board has like a bunch of aggressive guys. And that's what I want the Seahawks to do. I want them to go aggressive picks. And Yoma is my pick at 152.
Nice. Okay, I like that. Another solid pick. Okay.
And then the Seahawks have back-to-back picks again. So at 153, who are you taking?
Well, I guess I'm gonna surprise you. I'm gonna go back to the offensive line. Why not get some depth, right? Why not? I'm gonna go ooh. I don't even want to screw this name up. Here we go. Lecitus. There we go. Lecitus Smith. All right. Okay. Out of Virginia Tech. That's where he went. Yes. He was an honorable mention, all ACC. He only missed 1 game, and that was due to injury. And then he just didn't play in the bowl game. Can't blame the kid. He is definitely he's quick out of his stance, and he stays square. He can just bang, bang. Mm-hmm. And me doing that bang is him, anticipating that edge guy trying to beat him outside. Like he's quick, good hands, and he's good value here in the 5th round. So why not bolster up the offensive line by bringing in another guy that can come in and maybe help this offensive line? It's a shot in the dark. Maybe I'm completely wrong, and he doesn't provide the analysis that the analysis that I just gave you. But I think if you want to keep building on this offensive line, and we talked about how important the offensive line is. Your first pick was an offensive lineman. Let's add some more talent here to the offensive line. Let's bring somebody else in as well, and that is Lecitus Smith. I
like it. You need offensive line is like a necessity. Some teams, they have 3 backups per like line position, and it's not for just no reason that you need help on the offensive line. Those guys, unfortunately, are very injury prone, and you need guys that can just come off the bench, some backups that can replace those guys and make a big impact. I really like that pick, but my guy here, I don't know why. I think the Seahawks, they need to just keep attacking corner. I just hated it so much last season. And really, let's be honest, the 5th and 6th and 7th rounds, they're not that important. I mean, they're important, but they're not that important. Some of these guys have a chance of becoming undrafted guys, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go a corner again, and that's DaRon Bland. DaRon Bland
Mm.
comes out of Fresno, and I think he's like a good nickel guy. Great guy you can put in the slot, and he's big guy and he's pretty fast. And I'm thinking for the Seahawks, he's like perfect for them right here, because like there's not that much they can do. I just think like the good like tackles are gone at this point, and the only good things left are like receiver and running back. And there's no need for them to go any of them. So why not just go a corner, right? DaRon Bland is my guy. There's not too much context to it. Just there's nothing else that is really good here, and so I just got DaRon Bland.
Okay, I'm not mad at it. All right, fair enough.
Mm-hmm. And to wrap it up, last pick for the Seahawks is 229. Chris, who do you have at 229?
Well, this is kind of just wrapping it up. This was interesting and tough for me because the running back room is really uncertain, right? Chris Carson, we don't know if he's going to be able to play football again at this point. Rashad Penny, while he had a great end of the season run, we don't know if that's sustainable. He hasn't proven it up until last season, and there was only a sample size of 5 games. Is that really enough? Are you really confident that he's going to be available for 14 to 15 games? So your running back room is DJ Dallas, Travis Homer, Nick Ballore, fullback, plays linebacker. It's uncertain. I would go running back here, but I'm not. So I gave you all that and I'm not even going to take a running back. I apologize. Instead, I am going to go safety, and I'm going to go Smoke Monday.
Okay.
1, because the name is Smoke, and
Yeah.
2, because his last name is Monday. Those 2 alone are just fire. I cannot pass him up.
Dude, that's got to be the coolest name in the draft.
It is. His real name is Quindarius, but they call him Smoke. Last name is still Monday, but he is someone that you can work with him. He's very fast, downhill, and understands the flow of the game. He plays within it. He's good at setting the edge. So he's not going to start over Jamal, obviously, but this is just someone that in 3-4 years, he could be something. But he's also a late round pick. You don't know if it's possible, but that's the upside. So I would say go get a safety. Go get someone that you can plug in and you can put anywhere. He's probably comfortable enough where he might be able to play. Maybe you can try him at corner, maybe not, but you won't know until you try. I think he had 6 passes defense last season, so he was able to make plays on the football. He's very capable of doing so. And this is someone that, why not? And like I said, I like his name, Smoke Monday. Sign me up.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, running backs, you can always go running backs. I mean, I know running backs. What am I saying? You can always go safeties. Safety. Yeah, I know that. I got a bit confused. So yeah, I mean, Jamal Adams, Quandre Diggs, they got some backups, and
Ryan Neal.
Yeah, Ryan Neal. We got options. Sidney Jones could even play some safety, but yeah, Smoke Monday.
Fire name.
Yeah, fire name. I mean, Smoke, right? Like the dude's like, you can go anything at this last pick. I mean, there's chances like the guys we're saying right here, they could just be undrafted, and that's like the sad reality. But they could just be undrafted, and they could be picked up, and they could be superstars. So you never know with the NFL. But for my pick, the last pick in this whole fun mock draft is Doug Cramer. He's a center out of Illinois, and I just think more offensive line help. It's boring, but just more offensive line help is just something that I think the Seahawks should attack. And Doug Cramer is my guy here at 227. Chris, this was really fun, right? I mean, this was a fun mock draft. I think we got the Seahawks positions of needs. They have a lot. Anything else you want to say?
Man, I just want to thank you for taking the time out and reaching out and having me on, man. This was fun. Appreciate it.
This was very fun. Make sure to follow Chris's Twitter. It's gonna be right there. You can see it on the screen. Chris, you want to say it?
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
My apologies. Yeah, my Twitter handle is CKIDD206, and that's CKID206. While I do a lot of work with the Seahawks for the Man to Man podcast, I am an avid basketball fan. So if you see me tweeting about playoff basketball, I apologize in advance, because I know a lot of people don't really care about my basketball takes. They just, if it's not Seahawks, why am I paying attention? So I just want to put that out there. If you do follow me expecting nothing but Seahawks content, that is not the case. I am all over. So football, basketball, track and field. I'm sorry. Just giving you a heads up now.
Make sure to also look out for his top of the morning y'all tweets. Make sure to look
I will bombard you with that as well.
You'll see that every morning. But also make sure to check out their channel. I mean, they do such cool stuff. You guys interviewed like Bobby Wagner, right?
Yeah, we had Bobby Wagner on our last interview. So if you just search Seahawks Man to Man, it'll pop up. And that's our latest interview that we did. We have Bobby Wagner on. We just finished up our draft analysis. So we went through by position. Quarterback, we had a guy that studies quarterbacks. Cornerbacks, we had a guy that knows all things about cornerbacks. And what was the last position? Offensive lineman. We had a guy that knows all things offensive lineman. And we just broke down who the Seahawks should take on the draft, et cetera, et cetera. It's a really fun little thing we did. And if you want to check out Seahawks stuff, we have you covered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chris and Mike are very knowledgeable football experts, I'm gonna have to say. These dudes are great. So make sure to subscribe to Seahawks Man to Man. Chris, hopefully we have you in a future episode on the Hawk Alert. Thank you very much. Signing off, Saahil Kapoor.